I want to fast forward a little bit, and we can't cover your whole career, and nor was I trying to. But when Ultimate Warrior came in, all of a sudden he starts coming in and getting hot. I used to go down to the Sportatorium in Dallas, Texas. I was playing football at North Texas State University. He was coming in Dingo Warrior. And, I'd been to Blade Run with Sting down in Tennessee. I said, hey, man, this guy's probably going somewhere, mechanically in the ring, and Zach Wilde from Black Label Society, that's his favorite wrestler.
Yeah.
And, against guys, as far as reading crowds or workers, I think probably you would agree with me on this, or I've heard you say it, you can disagree. To me, the greatest professional wrestler that ever lived was Nature Boy Ric Flair.
For me?
Yeah.
I call him my champion. And when I talk to him on the phone a couple times a week, I said, how's the greatest wrestler that ever lived doing today? That's how I feel about him.
Same page, right?
Yes, sir, brother.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, and you're probably the biggest draw of all time.
Had the gimmick, and he worked the Stone Cold, the Hulk Hogan gimmick, he had the Ric Flair gimmick, but he fucking wrestled like Jack Briscoe on a Harley race, and he was believable. And he could put everybody over, and he didn't need to win because he would roll out of the ring bleeding with a belt, and he'd just stumble off into oblivion. He knew how to do it all. He could do it all.
Absolutely. But back to the Warrior. So, I knew he was going to be a star.
Yeah.
He comes into WWF, of course, Vince's body guy, and, he for obvious reasons. And Warrior looked great on TV, very charismatic, and, he had his thing, and it caught on. So you guys go to work, is WrestleMania 6? Okay. Y'all put that match comes together. A couple times he gets a little lost during the match. And, man, I'm watching you, man, and you are just such a ring general in that match. You're grabbing him up. He kicks out. You're on him like glue.
He wanted to go home then.
Yes.
Put that rear chin off on.
Yep. And you were going to put the time in.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm watching all your matches from those first 7. And to the rest of your career, you always put the time in to build and tell a story. The one with you and Mach from the Mega Powers. Put the time in. There's Elizabeth, neutral corner. All of a sudden she gets taken to the back, from helping him, helping you. But you always incorporate all these different things. Here's Warrior. You're talking him through this match. How was that? I mean, because you kept him, and he's no longer with us. And I called Jim on a personal basis every now and then, and I'd call him Warrior because that's what his name was. So I'm not going to speak out of turn of him because I was a big fan. And I remember one time at my first WrestleMania there, at WrestleMania 12, I was wrestling Savio Vega. But Warrior was always cool to me and treated me with respect when I was just a nobody. So, and I've always been a fan of his. So you're working with the man. How was it, or how chaotic or frenetic was it? Because he was all about the hype and, the high energy stuff. You're a thinking guy, and the adrenaline, and you're working the crowd better than anybody in the history of the business. How was it being in there with the man and keeping him on an even keel to get through that match? And then I want to talk about the finish, because a real genius kick out at 3 1/4. Talk about the man first.
Well, first off, I got to back up just a little bit. I had the red and yellow. I had the big tan. I had the Hollywood, not Hollywood, the California, whatever it was, whatever the Venice Beach thing was. I'm not from Venice Beach. I'm from Clearwater. But anyway, the California, land of opportunity, the tan, the blonde hair, or whatever I had left of it. And I had my gimmick going. So visually, I had a little bit different gimmick than anybody else, because I was always tan and stuff because I'm dark anyway without being in the sun. But all of a sudden, the Ultimate Warrior shows up. He's got the red and yellow and the blue and the purple on, but he's got neon colors on. And I've got a big set of arms, and I got one big ab, and he's got a 12-pack. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting in the room, and I'm watching Vince look at him and look at me. Well, actually, really not look at me anymore, but looking at him. And then Vince is calculating the dollar signs. So to go back there, I could see visually he was, to Vince, looked like a better package to draw money than me, because I'd been around for a while.
But also maybe a fresh horse.
Yes.
Because you had been around.
Yes, a fresh horse. But when we were going to do the WrestleMania thing, we did the build-up pretty darn good. And then Vince told me the finish. And my question is always, whether I'm going over or not, why are we doing this? And what's next? And so when Vince told me he wanted me to put the Warrior over, I said, okay, well, why are we doing this? And then where we go from here? He goes, well, I kind of think that the red and yellow run is pretty much over, and I think, we've kind of got everything we can out of the red and yellow thing. And let's just kind of take a little break from this, but I want you to put Jim over. And I went, damn, Vince, what about after the finish? And I point to God and I give him the belts and everything. I go halfway down that aisle and I do that stop and I do that slow Three Stooges turn. Slowly I turn and I go back, and when he's up there celebrating, I gaff his ass and I crucify him and I call myself Triple H, Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Oh, that'll never work. You can't be a heel. You've been a babyface. I said, Vince, I was a heel when I first came in here. I can be a heel, but now I know more. I could be a great heel. Vince says, no, you can't be a heel. So Vince kind of squashed the Hollywood Hulk Hogan deal. And we had a couple of years there where they were kind of turbulent, where they put the belt on the Warrior and they had to take the belt right off him because he wasn't drawn, But when I was in the ring with him, I told him in the back room, which I never did, I kind of like laid the match out for him. Not everything, but I laid out this, and I probably had A, B, C, D, E. And what we did in the middle wouldn't matter, but we're going to hit these A, B, C, D, E spots. And so we got going in the match, and I could tell right away, we did the push-off stuff and the strongman stuff and all this stuff. And I started chopping meat a little bit on him, and I could tell he was blown sky high. So I put a rear chin lock on him as I held him down. I said, brother, just breathe and calm down. And he's going, no, man, let's go home now. Let's go home. I'm going, brother, we only got about 5 or 6 minutes, and we're not going home. And I told him, he goes, oh, no, let's go home now. Because the crowd was rumbling. He goes, let's go home. I said, no, brother, you're going to have to press me over your head in the gorilla press, and I'm going to kick out of your finish before we go home. I told him that in the ring. So I got him to calm down, and we got through it. He would hit the ropes in the wrong direction and run the wrong way, and I was used to that.
Yeah.
And the match was okay, but the fact that he blew up so fast was hard because he really couldn't press me over his head.
Be a big dude.
And it turned out good, but I didn't have a problem putting him over. But when I asked why we're doing this or where are we going next, I didn't get the answer I wanted. So I kind of had a hard on from that point on,